Welcome to the University Park Improvement District recorded meeting records. The board tried to delete these from the internet, claiming it cost too much to keep them saved on Zoom, so now they are here uploaded for free on YouTube. Meet the board members: James Slaymaker, the lying hypocrite; Joanne Zahner, who joined the board because she was upset her neighbor had more cars than her; and Sarah Dole, who agrees with them that it should be illegal for women to be topless.
All right. Hello, everyone. It is March 11th, 7 o'clock. We're at the clubhouse. We're going to do the meeting here in person and on Zoom. The notice: all attendants will need to state their first and last name on the sign-in sheet or have their first and last name displayed on the Zoom meeting. This is for proper record keeping of the UP public meeting. If your first and last name is not displayed properly on Zoom, you can provide it in the chat or speak it aloud at the start of the meeting. If your first and last name has not been recorded by 5 minutes after the start of the meeting, you will be removed from the Zoom. This meeting is being recorded, including both the live and Zoom audiences, for future reference. Viewer discretion is advised. To adhere to proper record keeping, the audio and visual recording will stay active throughout all Zoom meetings. So, call to order. Board members present: Sarah Dahl, Joanne Zahner, and James Slaymaker. Announcement: anyone interested in coordinating the UPID Easter egg hunt this year? Easter is on April 20th. What day is that?
Sunday.
That's okay. I'm sorry. I got a flu here or something. I don't know. Not on my A game. All right. Sunday, April 20th. So anyway, so somebody needs to step up. So let us know. Email the board. How many folks we got online?
3.
Okay. We'll post it on Facebook too. See if we can get somebody rolling on it. All right. Yeah. Anyone interested in coordinating a spring garage sale? If we want to have one, you got to speak up and we'll figure out what we're going to do if we're going to do it. We did not do one last year. It's been a couple of years since we did one. So audience comments. Please stand and state your name if you have any comments. Keep comments to under 5 minutes. Be brief and respectful of the board and other community members. The audience will have the opportunity to take part in discussion of agenda items in the order that they appear on the agenda. We did add 2 additional agenda items. We did send it out in an email. Hopefully everybody saw it. So does the audience have any comments at this time in this room? How about online? How about board?
No.
Cool. All right. No time, no comments. So approval of the February meeting minutes and financial report. Does the audience have any comments at this time about the financial report or the minutes here in the room? How about anything online? How about on the board?
The only addition that I didn't get made for the financials is to add Riley Perrine to the list of firefighters that get free annual parks and burn pile usage.
Who was it again?
Riley Perrine.
Oh, okay. That's good. I didn't know that. That's great. Okay. Let's see. So, okay. No comments. And then do I hear a motion to approve the February meeting minutes and financial report?
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve the February meeting minutes and the financial report.
I second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
I
Opposed? Nobody's there. So both February meeting minutes and financial reports are approved. All right. Standing committee reports. Is John online? John Cassidy?
Mhm.
Oh, good. So, all right, John Cassidy, boat ramp. What's up, John?
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Hear you great.
Oh, awesome. All right. Well, the good news is that the lake is recovering. It's about a foot down from its normal level. The boat dock is still in place. We didn't take it out for the winter because we didn't have to. The local lake level went down and there was no threats of damage to it, so we left it in place. But at this point, lake is down 1 foot. The dock is trying to float, but it's not quite usable yet. Although the boat ramp is usable. I've seen a couple of boats go out. So So no issues with the boat dock. I do have a question, and I apologize if this was covered in another meeting. Somebody burned the brush pile down by the boat dock. I don't know. Do we know who did that?
No, no idea.
Okay. All right. They apparently lit, I was in the process of going to do that, and apparently somebody lit it and walked away because the center of it burned and the outside of it is there's a ring, so kind of a halfway job. But anyway, I will take care of it and finish it. But otherwise, there's no issues with the boat dock. It's good to go for ready for spring and summer.
So there's no intention of pulling it out to do any service to it prior to, spring and summer. Is
No.
that correct?
No, not at this point. I'm not seeing anything. I'll go through here and check. I'd like to check the decking to make sure there's no nails or screws that have maybe popped. And I'll make sure of that, but I've checked it off and on throughout the winter and I haven't seen anything that really needed any attention.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, next, golf course, Jeff Luna.
They are online if they want to unmute and share.
Jeff, you got anything? We'll say that's a no. All right, welcome committee. Interested in leading the welcome committee team, please email the board. I think Joanne Sainer here is volunteering.
Hey, James, can you hear me now?
Yeah, but you missed your time.
All right, well,
Go
then I'll
ahead, we'll
get
give
the
you-
next one.
Go
I'm
ahead.
using your phone. I don't know how to mute it. Yeah, I thought that last year our golf course went very well. I plan on doing it the same way this year. Matter of fact, I was out looking. I'll probably in the next week or so get the harrow and go work the greens again before they start getting overgrown with grass. And if the same volunteers want to help out on the holes, that would be greatly appreciated. If they don't, let me know and I'll try to find somebody else. And we'll keep taking care of 5 and 6 until they shut it down.
Yeah, it looks like that the lagoon project, the construction is going to be later in the year than we initially thought. So it looks like that the golf course and the disc golf will be operational most of the year. We don't know when yet, but it's not May and June and July. It's going to be August, September, October timeframe now to start the project. So I would say it'll be open most of the year, just so you understand, timeline.
Yeah, that's great. If anybody has any suggestions or anything, let me know. And that's all I got.
Jeff, what do you want me to put in the meeting minutes to contact you if they're able to help with or are you gonna post something on Facebook or?
Well, if they're not able to help, just let me know. If they are, I just consider everybody still helping unless they let me know different.
You mean the ones that were assigned the holes?
Yeah, that
Oh,
volunteered.
got it. Okay,
And then
got it.
hopefully all the committee people will come back too. But I'll reach out to them.
okay, perfect.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Welcome committee, back to Joanne volunteering.
Yeah, Joanne will volunteer for starting in the summer unless somebody raises their hand and says, no, they would really like it.
Well, they can do it with you.
Yes, or they can do it with me.
Okay, so yeah, if you're interested, just let us know. Joe and I would like to have somebody go along with it.
I'm lonely.
So speaking of that, we, Carla and I, saw some new folks moving in on Lakeview, the Nick and Shonda's house on Lakeview, that red house on the end of the circle. It's blue, that's right, used to be red, thank you. And, the folks moved in and, Ronnie, let's see, met Ronnie Neighbors.
Their last name's Neighbors.
No shit. Ronnie Neighbors, okay. I should have read that ahead of time. Ronnie Neighbors. Ron the neighbor, it's Ronnie Neighbors. All right, sorry, man, punchy. He and his wife Donna moved in 111-210 Lakeview Drive, Nick and Shauna's old house. They moved here from Arlington, Texas. So I explained that if his garage doors open, then people are going to stop in and say hi. So I prepared him for folks coming around. So they're looking forward to it. So please stop in and say hi to the new neighbors. So Firewise, Carla Slaymaker.
That's me. I am wanting to propose a Firewise Community Workday. I think May 3rd is when they're doing the national one, so that would be the day I would like to propose. Beginning work here at 8 a.m. And if I looked up graduations, I didn't see any conflicts. I don't know, does anybody know of any other conflicts with doing it that day?
This is John Cassida. I have a recommendation. Could we move it up before the trees really start to bud out and get leaves on them? If there's fewer leaves on the trees, I think it would make our work a little bit easier, especially as we're trimming things back. Just a thought.
What would you propose, John? What date? Do you have a date in mind?
I do not have a date in mind, but earlier. So perhaps something in April. I know that's not, I mean, it's not too far out, but or if you want to break it up into a couple of different sessions where, you know, the main one maybe is in May, but maybe if there's trees that need to be cut back, we do it sooner. So it's easier to handle. We can get more loads in trailers and such if there's not if the leaves aren't all out on the trees.
I would say we could do it in April, no problem, but we want to do it after the meeting, so we have one more opportunity to remind folks at the
How
next
about the
meeting.
19th?
What day's the meeting on?
The
The
19th
eighth.
is the day before Easter,
Oh,
so,
dang, you're right, that's not good.
so the 12th might be a good, and that's, the meeting's on the 8th, and the 12th would then be that Saturday morning.
But that might be when you do your Easter egg hunt, if someone volunteers for that, because it's usually the week.
It is, yeah, so
Before
probably
Easter.
the 5th?
Now we're before, that's before the next
It is
meeting.
before the
26th.
meeting.
Those kids usually aren't very helpful though.
Well,
We
might
could
be-
just say we're having an Easter egg hunt.
Yeah.
Let's put them all to work. Yeah.
Bring your chainsaw for the Easter egg hunt.
Yeah,
I think we want branches and not little twigs.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what date do you think? And then,
How about the 5th of April?
but okay, so that's before the next meeting.
It
and
is.
The only downside to that, so
But
that means all the notification would have to be,
In the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks,
Yeah, it's pretty fast.
it is.
3
I would
weeks.
Say either the 5th or the 26th, to be honest, or
The 5th or the 26th.
just to
What were
avoid
you
Easter and Easter
thinking?
festivities.
To do trimming.
I have, we'll be
Haven't
honest, I
looked
don't
at
have a
this.
specific.
That's what I mean. We don't really have,
Um,
a solid plan. I think
We need to paint the fire hydrants, which might not be a bad thing to do on a work day. And trim up the trees.
We got the paint for that from Raleigh County last time.
Yeah, I should be able to.
And I don't mind doing it on a non-work day. Cause we
Well,
did it, yeah.
let me ask,
Yeah, last time we did.
Maybe,
So I have not
This-
really worked list together.
Go ahead, John.
and this is John Cast again, a question, and maybe I should have asked this before. Do we anticipate trimming back a bunch of trees this year? Because if not, then it doesn't really matter. But if we are, then, maybe move it up. But if we're not going to trim a bunch of trees, if that's not on the to-do list, then, later's fine. So I guess I should have asked that to begin with.
But
Right.
it pretty much always involves clearing brush and trimming trees. That's kind of what the idea behind it is, to make sure we're better protected
Right.
from fire. So having some kind of a community event is required for us to maintain our firewise status, basically. But if, we can kind of postpone that if we want to and look around and see what really needs to be done and then talk about it again in April. But then, as you say, it's getting later in the year and
Yeah, I don't think there's a big slamming demand for trimming a whole bunch of trees. I think there will be tree trimming, but I don't think it's going to be traditionally what we normally do. So why don't we just keep it for May 3rd? It looks like there's a lot of conflicts with Easter, and why don't we just keep it for May 3rd right now?
There could be some tree trimming in Haywood Park. So the tractor would just go under those trees.
That's kind of what I was thinking this time.
It wouldn't be it isn't from the ground up, it's just
Higher stuff,
higher stuff, layering them up a little bit.
more of a golf course and a Hayward Park
Yeah.
kind of deal this time than roads. Because the
Yeah.
township, if I recall, has said they are going to manage trimming the trees on the roads.
I was
What
gonna
you heard
ask, has
too.
there been an update on that? I think we talked about it last year and we haven't heard anything since.
They had talked about it. I didn't go to the last one. 'Cause I can't remember what came up, but you went to it today. They were kind of finished with what I recall last year, and then it would come up this year. It would be more of a summer project.
Exactly, and they also talked about graveling our roads, but they were gonna get back with us, and it's very hard to. The communication's not very strong.
So, one road that we really, community-wise, haven't put, I won't say any effort, but very, very little effort community-wise is Briar Lane.
Mhm.
And
know.
that's the one that were focusing on for tree removal.
For the township. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because I did see the county out on Mound Ridge last year, and they were trimming trees up on Mound Ridge, and they got as far down as that lift station, and they stopped at that point. So, but that was Riley County, that was not township.
I do remember
Ridge.
them saying that Briar Lane was going to be a target for them. I just don't know that we've ever gotten a date on when they were gonna follow through with that.
Can you check on that? Is that something you can hit them on that? Okay, so Tracy's gonna check to see if they actually have a plan to do something with that this year. If not,
Cause that
Then-
would take a lot of our workload away.
it would.
Can
But
you,
if
al-
not, then we may need to be thinking about that.
can you also check on the graveling of the road? They,
But
you
they were
might as
supposed to
well
gravel it a
Yeah.
year ago in December, and it never happened.
Yeah.
We never got.
no, so thank you, and that way I won't bug them too.
Why not?
That short road there in front of Jim Jackson's house where it goes down low, that road, besides Briar Lane, is probably the worst road, overgrown, encroaching, that prevents the grader guy to be able to grade. Same thing is happening on Briar Lane. So anyway, we'll look at which roads we're gonna do, and hopefully we'll find some information from the township to help nail it down what we're gonna do. But let's just keep May 3rd for right now. With the Easter and stuff, I just think that's probably the best thing to do. So that's it, May 3rd, 8 o'clock.
Do you want any, last year we sent out a survey asking for people's input where we should trim. Do you want to hold off on that and just
Oh,
focus?
yeah, you can send that. Yeah, let's see what
That
they
was
say.
helpful.
Yeah,
Very.
let's see if there's something there.
Tracy
Hopefully they
said
don't say
so.
trim my street. Okay. Parks, okay, that's it. Firewise, you done?
That was my main thing.
So make sure and keep your time for trimming trees and send it to the board or send it to Carlos Slaymaker, either way. Parks and Rec. Kurt,
Yes, we were supposed to meet this evening, and due to lack of agenda items, we decided not to. So, don't know how many of the other ones have got started on their projects that were approved, and the funding is deceased, but those were all. We got. What's the number we got this year? We should have enough to come very, very close to pouring the concrete and doing all that work for the pickleball basketball court. The only thing is increased cost in concrete in the last year because we were going off the bid that we had from last year, so.
we're actually 22 was the
think
last
it's
one,
Actually, yeah.
Few
and it was $170 a yard. And I believe concrete's 220, 2 something a yard now, so it's gonna be a significant bump. But anyway, we'll get a good I will get a new number. I'm probably gonna get 2 quotes, just for that kind of money. Let's,
And then University Park gonna make up that difference.
yeah, we need to get the concrete poured this year, so let's, is it 5,000 difference? Is it 10,000 difference? We need to see what the difference is to see before we, commit. So I don't know. I assume yes, but there's a number that's too much.
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't see it. Okay. You good on that, Kurt?
Right?
You good?
Yeah. that's
Thank you,
all.
Kurt.
Stall Bomber has, I think, 2 batch trucks that can mix up to 10 yards on site. So you only pay for what you use out of the truck. So coming
There's
up
our
this
project
far, that
manager.
might be helpful for a lot of projects.
We'll see.
Basketball person get help a lot bigger than that.
I forget how many yards. it was.
Uh,
Where's the yellow?
Man,
Oh,
Oh, he was figuring 3 loads. Oh, no, wait, that's gravel. I'm sorry. Let's see here. Concrete, a yard. I had to math it out. Yeah, it has a price per yard and has total price, you have to divide it, but I'm not doing that right now. Sherman Township, Tracy Sabo.
No update. But I did ask them when their next meeting was, because in theory, it should probably be tomorrow night.
Here, you know?
In
In
theory,
theory.
Okay,
but I have not heard back. When I hear back,
yeah, let me know, text me or something, cause you know, I think they did a good job shaving the edge of the roads to allow the water to, and somewhat of a crown, to allow the water to work to the ditches. The problem is, when they took all the grass off the edge, it looks like it's road, people are driving it, there's no gravel on those edges, and it is mud, and it just sink in 3 and 4 inches deep or worse. So I'm just curious if they're gonna let the grass grow back in that area to define the road is further in, now that they've cut the edge, so the water will drain off, or if they're gonna widen the road permanently and put gravel there. They gotta do one or the other, they gotta gravel it or grass it.
Gravel on these roads.
He said it had been years, and that's why they were going to look at it, doing it this spring, summer.
It needs to be freshened up.
But
Yeah,
I'd like to ask them in person, so if you find out when it is, I will come to it. Okay, golf course prairie management, prairie
No.
management.
no update from Laura. Still same as last month.
Okay, so you need to hit her on, I mean, we gotta burn this spring.
Yeah, they're gonna burn. They just
Okay,
haven't set the date yet.
well, yeah, I'd like to know what they're gonna burn, you know, what she wants to burn, let's,
I see a lot of cedar trees, little cedar trees coming up in places that have not been burnt or mowed,
I agree.
you know, the last couple of years.
Yeah, we either have to mow it or burn it this year,
Okay.
because it's starting to get out of hand, 100%. It basically, anything that hasn't been mowed or burned needs to be mowed or burned this year, is what it boils down to. And Kurt's out in the mower, so he
Well,
sees,
and part of it's gonna be where
it is,
the lagoon's gonna be, so.
less of a concern there,
Mowing that, you know.
yeah.
Burn it maybe, but even probably other areas you could put your time toward.
Right.
Okay, equipment, Kurt,
I got a bunch of filters, oil filters, air filters, fuel filters, and some oil and stuff the other day, so. When I get some gas, I will start doing some service on the tractors. The Kubota tractor, I got a new air filter for it, because that thing gets some fog when you go push the burn pile up, but, you know, we keep cleaning it, but it probably just good to have one on hand if we need to reach, you know.
Okay.
It does not need oil change in it. It doesn't have that many hours on it. The Case IH and the John Deere.
so you gonna mow this year still, again this year?
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Kurt. I'll ask Derek, I assume Derek is also, but I will confirm.
Details, I mean, I kind of ended up doing the disc golf fairway last year, and then some other rough areas that were on the golf course, you know, that they decided to mow, so.
Yeah, it worked well, everybody was happy with it, thank you.
Hey, we-
Sewer lagoon update, so. I don't know if we got an update yesterday or today.
We did
So the
not.
last update is the update, basically, the only thing to be aware of, and I think we did send an email out about that, right? About, you know, the funding is somewhat questionable and maybe on hold or be pending, you know, have to wait and see how that turns out.
I mean, right now it's not on hold, but.
Yeah, it's still active right now. They were just being ahead of it, saying, you know,
is it a federal grant or a state grant?
it's federal. Some of it's state, but the big one is federal.
Some small cities.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did, email Evan McMillan and McKinley and the other day, because I saw in the Riley County Commission minutes that there was a 260 some, I forget what, $200,000 loan.
Yeah.
From County General to University Park Improvement District. Now what?
Yeah,
You know, well, they put it wrong in the minutes, it was to the
Yeah.
sewer district.
that's exactly right.
Right.
It's not,
And so that loan was approved, and they have to pay off this. They got things coming due that have to be paid by the end of the month.
Yeah.
So we do have that loan with County General now, that's going against our lagoon project. And the county's charging 6% interest, so I said, maybe we need to step up getting all this stuff done and so you get it repaid ASAP.
Or stuff all in the back.
Yeah.
6%, that's pretty good interest.
Yeah, I thought,
Let's see here. So, okay, so that's good. Excuse me. Rental house management still on hold for now. Firehouse building. So basically drive by and check out the fire, check it out, but stay off the build site. We're still waiting for Riley County Council to prepare a one-page license that gives Evergy and Riley County permission to have the electric line over UP property to provide electricity to the new fire station. I don't even think they have temp power either. We will sign once we receive that document, though. Also waiting for them to hook up the water back to the clubhouse, which they cut when they were putting in the footings for the firehouse. We knew it was a possibility and it actually happened. Engineers have to design the main water line connection, so it could be a while before it gets hooked up. That is why we are talking about putting a porta potty down here at the clubhouse. We're going to talk about it here in a minute. Up until now, we've been telling folks to use the one up at the firehouse, which was fine when it was winter. Nobody used it. But things are a little different now. So anyway, we're going to talk about that in a little bit second here. Any comments on the firehouse progress? I mean, you saw the beams are up and they're working, so they're not going to leave till they're done, I suspect, at least for the outside structure. So we should see something. If not done this week, it'll be done next week, I'm sure. They got another job after this. So legal discussion. The HUD case is closed. UP lawyer has filed a motion to dismiss the civil suit, and we're waiting for confirmation that the case is closed. The civil suit is closed. We're waiting for that. So I have the HUD document that basically, I mean, it's not that much to read. I'm going to read it. So basically, this is from HUD to us, and to Maples attorney to Maples. It says on June 20th, 2024, the above referenced housing discrimination complaint was filed with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development under the Fair Housing Act 1968 as amended. On December 17th, 2024, the complainant, which is Maples, Miss Maples, informed this office that the parties have agreed to a private settlement of the issue involved in this complaint. The complaint subsequently executed a written withdrawal of the complaint and submitted it to this office. This is to advise you that after receiving proper notice that the above referenced complaint has been withdrawn after resolution, HUD has determined its investigation has terminated its investigation and has administratively closed the complaint. The closure is not a determination on the merits of the allegations contained in this complaint. And then there's like big bold here. Retaliation is a violation of the Fair Housing Act. Section 818 of the act makes it unlawful to retaliate against any person because he or she has filed a housing discrimination complaint, is associated with the complaint, has counseled or otherwise assisted any person to file such a complaint, or has provided information to HUD during a complaint investigation. Section 818 also protects complainants against retaliatory acts that occur after the complainant has withdrawn, settled, or conciliated a housing discrimination complaint. Any person who believes that he or she has been a victim of retaliation for any of the reasons listed above may file a housing discrimination complaint with HUD within 1 year of the date which the most recent allegation retaliatory act has occurred. So that's a lot, but the HUD thing is over and we're just waiting to the final document from the judge to say the civil complaint is over and then the whole thing is behind us. And basically it was roughly $950 to $1,000 or $9,000 to $10,000. I'm sorry, right? Roughly between $9,000 and $10,000. We still gonna owe the lawyer a little bit for this final bit, but that'll be the end of it.
Yeah, it was within all the amount that was approved throughout the course of it with board meetings. We didn't spend above the budget.
Okay. Okay, so any comments on that in the room? Comments online? Okay, Haywood Park sign. Brian McNulty is working on it. Thank you, Brian. I met with him this last week and he's got a good plan and it's gonna be very nice. It'll outlive all of us. So discuss the pickleball, basketball court construction. So I'm calling it a project manager to coordinate University Park community efforts to reduce the cost. Things like dirt work prior to concrete work. Somebody has to figure out the current cost for the nets and all the other items we need to outfit the court. You know, and hopefully someone that wants to play pickleball or basketball and has an understanding of what is needed can coordinate this. You know, I'm going to get the concrete quote, so I'll manage that. But it's like, we paid the quote's $170 a yard for concrete. It's over 220, 230 or something a yard now. We are not going to have enough money. There are some ways we can save a little bit of money by the community with our equipment, can prep the site and spread the scalpings around and move the dirt and prep it for when the concrete guy comes in and dig the footing. We can save a lot of money if we're willing to do that. But somebody needs to set it up. You know, somebody needs to coordinate it. They don't necessarily need to do the work. Somebody needs to coordinate all the people on the effort. Set a day, get the trucks, you know, line up the trucks. I got truck guys, you know, I can give you the name. And so anyway, please be thinking about that. We are ready to go now. The money is available. The money has to be spent, I believe, by when is that, Kurt?
They want it done by December.
By December, money has to be gone. If we don't spend it, it's a use it or lose it situation. So we need to get if nothing else happens this year, we need to get the concrete in. So please be speaking up, talk to me, talk to the board, be thinking about what you're willing to do. Because otherwise, you know what we're going to do? We're going to tell the concrete guy to come in and pour the concrete, pay him for everything. And that's that much less money we're going to have. So maybe we only pour half the concrete or 2/3 of the concrete, or UP has to write a check out of our pocket for the additional funds. I don't know. You know, it's going to be a discussion. If we have to write a check out of UP funds, we're gonna have to sit here at a board meeting and vote on if we want to spend an additional, I don't know, man, $5,000, $10,000 on concrete. I don't know what it's gonna cost. So a little effort could save some money. So.
And you're not talking about a lot of effort.
No,
You're
I'm not.
talking about a coordination. It could be,
I don't need you to drive a skid. I just need you to set it up. Need you to do the legwork. Tell us the day. That's what I need. Okay. So just contact me or the board. Okay, any comments? Anybody want to volunteer right now? Anybody interested? Okay, anybody online interested? Volunteer right now? All right,
We'll talk about it and see kind of what it is. Do you guys have your specs on it, what you need?
we have some stuff. I can, yeah,
Can you just email it to me and?
I can send you what I got.
Okay.
It is not a hard document. It's not a federal contract.
Yeah, I think it's right.
Okay. It's getting dark. I'm getting my glasses on. So here we go. So, new business, University Park rental property. So are they online? Speeds? University Park rental property just south of the water tower. Tenant has requested to have chickens. Okay, so here's my recommendation. I recommend we allow chickens according to the Riley County Land Development Regulation. That basically states that you can have up to 6 chickens, no roosters. All of us can, in accordance with our Riley County Land Regulation. I recommend the chickens must be kept in a coop, which is actually required in land regulation. There's no free range chickens. The coop needs to be behind the house, not in front of the house, not on the side of the house where we drive by and see it, behind the house. Not visible from the road. When the tenant's lease terminates, the property needs to be returned back to the original condition. That is my input. So, input here, crowd? Anybody weigh in, any care? I mean, swing either way?
I agree with your input. I think that makes sense. It's logical.
How about online? Okay. Okay. The board, Sarah, you got anything?
Everything that you said sounds valid and fair to me. I don't have anything to add.
Okay, so we're gonna vote on it because we're gonna amend the lease and do an addendum to the lease. So we're just gonna make sure and make it official. So. Do I hear a motion to allow the chickens in the UP rental according to the Riley County Land Development Regulation? If the chickens must be kept in a coop behind the house and not visible from the road, when the tenants leave the property, it needs to be returned to its original condition.
I make a motion to allow chickens at the rental and amend the lease according to the discussed options.
Cool.
I second.
Outstanding. All in favor? Aye. Okay, they've been approved to allow chickens in the UP rental according to Riley County Land Development Regulation. The chickens must be kept in a coop behind the house and not visible from the road. When the tenants leave the property, it needs to be returned to its original condition. Thank you. UPID installation porta potty at the clubhouse. So I kind of touched on that a little bit. And at the clubhouse area until water line has been repaired by Riley County. So I spoke to Evan McMillan at Riley County, and there are no discretionary funds to pay for the porta potty. Evan McMillan would have to go before the commissioners and in order to get approval to cover the porta potty. So most likely they would approve it, but there is a delay in waiting for all these things to happen to get a porta potty down here for $137 a month. So our water bill was roughly, I don't know, $47 a month before the water is turned off. So we're not paying the water bill. I mean, we all see the weather. People are down here. People are in the playground. I think we need to have a porta potty down here. So that would be my recommendation. We checked, and the cat cans is 150. These guys are 135, I think, because they service the other one the same time. It's the same one that the firehouse guys are using. So I recommend that we get a porta potty down here. I can get it in there on tomorrow, actually. So any comments from the crowd?
Will they go ahead and continue to switch through for the county to pay for it?
No, we're just gonna eat it.
I just think it's ridiculous that they're not gonna,
They're the ones that broke the line.
yeah.
Well, what's taking, I mean, how long, when are they gonna supply the line there to get the firehouse?
Right. So I mean, what we're looking at is 1 month or 2 months at this point.
Yeah.
We're not looking at 6 months. We're looking at $260.
Yeah, well, no, I agree to go ahead, but I had also encouraged to push it through
And ask for reimbursement.
and ask for reimbursement because, look, they did it. And I can tell you that if we did it to one of their buildings, we would be paying a lot.
I was just gonna say, we also pay somebody to clean it weekly during the season, so that's another
You are saving money.
$25 a week we normally pay out.
Well, I guess you're saying that we save. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so the first vote is, are we gonna put a porta potty down here? Okay, so
Yes.
do I, anything online about the porta potty? Okay.
Travis Gilbert here.
Yeah, Trav.
I just want to echo what other people are saying. That should be on the contractor. Like, as working for a contractor, if we broke something, it's our responsibility to foot the bill for the porta potty. And they're already having one porta potty over there. Like, it should be on them to pay for that. Like, I agree, we just need to get it, but we should try to follow up and see if we can get reimbursement from them on that.
Okay, thank you. All right, so do I hear a motion to rent a porta potty to put at the clubhouse area until the water line is repaired by the county?
I'll make a motion to put a porta potty down here, down by the pavilion until the water line is repaired.
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
I
So, Joanne?
Yes.
If you want to contact Evan and tell him we'd like to officially request to
I would
have
love to.
reimbursed, then ask him.
reimburse and is it optimistic that it's done in 2 months, or is that just?
It is.
Okay.
It is. They've been working on it since they cut the line. And the engineers have been designing the new water line since that problem, when they found the line, they know where all the lines are now because they cut them. So it was a 2 to 3 month process from then, and they cut it over 3 months ago. So I suspect they're just waiting until they were to that point in the firehouse, and they're gonna do the connection then, and we're just on pause because of that.
So
So,
The reason I asked is, should we say we ask for reimbursement, or we ask for reimbursement and coverage of all costs until the line is fixed? Like, completely close the gap.
I mean,
If
let's just try and get the money back. I don't know what the other reimbursement is gonna be for.
it takes a third month or a
Well,
fourth
yeah,
month.
I want,
or-
I mean, if we're gonna ask, they're gonna pay for all of it, or
Yeah,
they're not gonna pay for
and I'll
any
put
of it.
it that way. But can I have the invoice whenever one of
Yeah.
you gets it?
Yeah, no problem. I will provide it.
it's scripting that if he can't find the money for the porta potty, but they paid the engineers, what, $16,000 to redo that area?
I mean, they had a line item in the budget to pay the engineers. They didn't have a line item in the budget to pay for a porta potty at
But they
University
didn't have
Park.
the
I don't know. I don't know.
I just,
Carla, can you
It's
turn the light
county-
on, please? It's getting really dark. Or
It's county
Kurt?
government and they're gonna tell you they don't have the money, but
Right.
they do.
I understand.
Yeah, and I will
Called a
definitely
contingency.
I
ask.
know. I know.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it is. pretty-
Let's see here. Let me see here. I'm going to find out. We had chicken coop, we did a porta potty. Okay, next. Looking for our next UPID board. If you are interested in serving on the board, complete the UPID board ballot application and submit by 2 June 2025. The election will be held in November 2025 for a 2-year term beginning January 2026. The application link is on the website. If you have any questions about serving on the board, talk to current or previous board members to find out more. Joanne is talking to Riley County Election Board and will be providing us, the community, with the documents stating the requirements for board applicants. Once she gets them, we'll post and share. Everyone will see what we see. So, any comments from the community?
Or volunteers.
Or, yeah, I already asked them all.
Everybody
said
looks
that's
away.
Amy, or
do have a
volunteers.
comment.
I'm sorry.
Is there any, like stipulation to put one as a 3-year? Because right now with everyone rolling off on 2 years, if one of them can be a 3-year and we kind of space them out, and so there's someone maybe every year instead of everyone rolls off at the same time.
Yeah, I do know that question's been asked before. The mandate at the state level, I mean, it's not just University Park, it's all improvement districts. The mandate is a 2-year term.
State statute.
The only real question I asked once is if we could change and every year we have an election for somebody.
Yes.
But the way Riley County does it is they do all of the improvement districts on the same cycle. They don't want to do anybody 1 year off. Everybody's every 2 years. It's easier for them. It's easier bookkeeping. So I did ask that question last year or the year before when I ran for the board. I agree. It's a pain when everybody has to go, but normally, so Sarah, I believe, so I am done on the board. I believe Joanne, what are you doing?
I'm done too.
Joanne is not going to serve at the next board. And Sarah, what are you doing?
I will put my name back on the ballot.
So Sarah, so we need 2 board members.
Thank you again.
And if you don't,
It's a vote thing, so just because I'm putting my name in doesn't mean
Yeah.
I'll get voted on.
right, so and then if you don't get enough folks on the list, then you do a write-in. And a write-in can be very difficult if you don't get them in by June 2nd. In other words, if you walk in there and you spell the name wrong, it doesn't count. So it is, what's important is hopefully to decide prior to the June 2nd date and put your name on the ballot. That's the best way to make sure it gets done right, so. Okay. Any questions online? Any volunteers online? Any election campaign or?
Travis asked if any current board members are planning to run again, and that question has been answered.
Yes, it has, Travis. Okay, so that is that page. Only 6 more. Just joke. All right, 1 second here. 2024 mowing letters will be sent out this month. It will be the same letter as last year. Pricing did not change. Letters go to lot owners who are non-compliant in their mowing. Those who didn't mow last year according to Riley County land development regulations. Also, those who contracted UP to mow last year, there was 2 or 3 property owners who did that. And all new property owners will get the letter because they don't know what's going on. So we let them know. And we keep a pretty good list of when homes are easy, it's the empty lots are a little bit more difficult, but we keep a pretty good eye on that. Carla does actually. Assistant. Any comments on that? Okay, they will be out by the next meeting. So tonight, okay, here we go. So tonight, I want to bring up some items for everyone to be thinking about that we, the board, would like to resolve this year and need the community involvement. We are not voting on any of these items at this time, but want the community to be discussing them. We will be discussing these items in depth in coming meetings. Tonight is just the beginning of the conversation. I just want people to start being thoughtful of it. So the first one, and I would argue the most important one, is the covenant discussion. So we, the community, attempted to enforce in court against an individual in our community that came at a cost to the community of approximately $10,000. And we were unsuccessful in enforcing the covenant. So we lost. My question for the community is, which of these covenants are we willing to spend additional funds to enforce in court with the lawyer? I see, this is me just talking here, just because I've been thinking about it probably more than some other folks. This is me thinking. I see three choices. We can leave the covenant in place as is. We can edit the covenant. Or we can eliminate the covenant entirely and rely strictly on the Riley County Land Development Regulations. And that means Riley County Attorney, Riley County Enforcement, all of it would fall on those folks. If we eliminated it and that document's already there, it's already out there. So it's already in force. But anyway, so that's that. So that's my three choices. So the board will be holding community meetings to give community members opportunity to discuss. We will post the link for the Riley County Land Development Regulation on the UP website. If you don't know anything about it, we're going to post it. The current covenants are already on the website. Please read these documents ahead of time so you have an understanding of what we are discussing and come prepared to give input. You know, I'd like to set a date for the meeting, and the date I am suggesting that we set is Saturday, March 22nd at 7 o'clock. And we're gonna call a special meeting, and we're gonna do it down here. We'll do it on Zoom too. So if people wanted to go on Zoom and chime in, it's just the first one. We're gonna hold more. But don't show up and don't know what the covenants are and don't know what the land regulation are. It's just wasting my time, and I don't want to waste time. I don't want to waste your time. So come prepared, please. And then, what I would recommend is you go through the covenants and find out which covenants you feel are important and maybe are not covered properly under the land regulation, and maybe attack it from that angle, or maybe you feel we want them all and we want to just fight it every time in court. So, you know,
Sorry.
yeah. So, okay. So that's that one. So that's the date. I'm setting the date. It's gonna be down here. Nobody shows up, then I'll talk to myself and the board will be here.
I'll be with you. And so will you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Were you also thinking about a survey?
Yeah, and yeah, we were thinking about maybe sending just a survey out of just the initial, those three questions, you know, how does the community feel about those three questions? Not really trying to dissect each individual covenant, but just a spitball, what's your first, you know, what's your first thoughts? And it may make things go easier if we get an indication of what the community feels. So yeah, is that something?
I can do that. Will you just send me those three questions?
Well, yep.
I can do that.
Do we need to make a motion to set that meeting date?
No, do we? I don't know. It's gonna be an official meeting, so do we need to do that? Well, then you say it, 'cause I didn't write it down.
I make a motion that we set a special meeting date to discuss the covenants on Saturday, March 22nd at 7 PM.
I second it.
Cool. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed to set the meeting date on Saturday, March 22nd at 7 o'clock. So please come.
James, Kurt Frederick, I do have a conflict on that date, so I probably won't be able to attend, but one question I have right away, have you had any communication with Riley County that they will enforce their own regulations if we abolish our covenants?
Well, so I would say that, yes, I've actually talked to the Riley County, he's the district attorney now, right? Because he replaced, what's his face? So, yes, they fully intend to enforce. They're actually changing the authority of the district attorney to have like a mini court, I believe, somewhere down the line where they're able to adjudicate the case without going before an official judge. I mean, they're getting a process in place to speed it up so it doesn't go on for years. So yes, they intend to enforce. And I do know that planning and zoning, they hired a guy. I've seen it in one of the commission meetings. They hired a guy solely to enforce this document. So they're making efforts. And the other thing is, as elected officials, it's our job to make them do their job. So if they're not doing their job, then you pick up the phone, you send an email, you go to the commission meeting, you say, hey, why aren't you doing your job? Here is a list of complaints and nothing's happening. So I'll tell you, I've called them on multiple things and the police department to solve some issues and they did respond. So the first level is community, we're talking community and neighbors here. So the first level is you talk to your neighbor and you try to work it out. So you can't always work it out, different agreement or whatever. So then that's what this document is. This document is if you can't figure it out yourself. You can't figure it out amongst yourself. So anyway, yeah, Kurt, I believe they intend to enforce it.
Okay.
Any other comments online about that? Okay. So the other one, number 2, and just another thing to think about is once the new firehouse is done, they're gonna move their fire trucks into the new firehouse and that building now becomes University Park property. We're responsible to maintain it. We own it. There's been a lot of discussion about what we're gonna do with it. One of the things that was discussed is to move the tractors in there. It's an option. We don't have a solid plan. So we as a community need to be thinking about what do we want to do with that building? The old firehouse. What are we going to do with it? So be thinking about it. This thing is going to be on the agenda for every meeting. I do not intend to let this thing ride all the way to the new board and make the new board deal with this. I would like to find a resolution to this, a plan anyway, that we're moving forward with, if possible. That would be my goal. So be thinking about it. And at the next meeting, maybe have some thoughts, what you guys think we should do with that building. Any comments on that? Yes, lady.
Carlos Slingmaker. Could we include that question also in the survey that we sent to Teresa?
I really want to keep the covenant
Oh, okay.
on its own by
Okay.
itself. The other one's is a separate deal.
We could do a separate survey though.
We could, but there's a bunch of things on here. So maybe,
Yeah.
And we can space them out.
Yeah. I would really like to get that covenant thing on its own,
You go hanging fruit.
get people focused on that, and then we can hit the other stuff.
Yeah, let's start with that, yep. Cause that one will be coming in March,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Anything online about that or the board? I didn't ask you guys. You got any comments about this yet?
Just
Sorry.
a survey.
Sarah? You're right. Let's see here. Okay, other things, let's see here. I apologize here. I lost my track. It's getting dark. If we remove tractors and equipment from the current tractor shed, what do we do with that building? What do we do with the old firehouse? So there's a question, this building right here, if we move the tractors into the other firehouse, what do we do with this building? Another question. There's been discussions about doing various things with it. I have thoughts, but I'd be curious what everybody else's thoughts are. So be thinking about that. Any comments right now from the community here or online? Email the board, talk amongst yourself, post it on Facebook and have an open forum discussion and people just start throwing their ideas out there. That's the best way to find the best option when you have as many people as we do is because people aren't always willing to say something at the meeting, but everybody loves to talk on Facebook. So that's true. Okay. Sewer Lagoon project. So we will need to manage the impact on the community during the construction. Prior to the sewage lagoon construction, we're gonna need to remove the baskets, the flags and the signage. And other things may come up as we go into construction. So when I talked to Evan this week, what I told Evan is that we would like to see the contract before they send it out there. So we see what impact it has on us. And if there's anything in there that we, the community, feels need to be maybe slightly sifted around for our concern or our needs. So he's aware that I want to see it, or we want to see it, and I expect that we're going to have an opportunity not to weigh in on how to build the lagoon, but just more on the impact, the access, where are they going to access? Are they going to cut a new culvert? Just things like that. Where are they going to park all their vehicles at? Just so we have a better understanding of what's going on. So. One more.
Thanks for the reminder, Kurt.
Any comments on that at the time? Okay, and then the fifth one. So we will need to develop plans for reconfiguring the golf course and the disc golf course layouts. Once the final sewer lagoon plan is public, the actual changes to the golf course will happen once the lagoon project is complete, whenever that is. So, once we get the final drawing, lagoon's going here, the lagoon's going here, the golf committee and the community can start looking about how we're going to reconfigure the golf course and the disc golf. And we need to decide if there's a conflict between disc golf and ball golf, does ball golf win? Or do we move the ball golf to work around disc golf? It's going to be an interesting discussion. Ball golf's been around here since 64. And disc golf's been around here for 3 days, so be interested to see how it weighs out. Any comment on that? Nope. Okay, so,
Just comment on general, all those items that James mentioned and anything else. When we start the meetings and ask for audience comments, that is your opportunity in the meeting to step forward and talk about those things, step forward and talk about anything else. The meetings do not have to be about just the agenda, only the agenda, just about us three. There's room and space for anyone in the community to talk. It happens at the beginning of the meetings, so show up early if you plan to, or like James said, feel free to send us an email with any questions, comments, or concerns, or post on Facebook.
cool. Yes, please, thank you. So we're going to, adjourn, but we're gonna leave the meeting open for an executive session. So, and just because we're not done yet, and we may have one more requirement to do lawyer stuff, so. Do I hear a motion to leave the meeting open for an executive session to discuss legal proceedings if needed?
I make a motion that we adjourn the public meeting and leave the meeting open for an executive session if needed.
Is there a
I
second?
Second it.
Cool. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It has been approved to leave the meeting open for an executive session to discuss legal proceedings. That is it. Thank you.